This is true when you're starting from zero, and it will be true for the rest of your career. Clients don't hire you for your experience. They hire you because you understand their problem better than anyone else. If you can articulate the pain they're living with and the outcome that they want, you can win projects long before you have your own results to point to. So the question is, how do I make a stranger trust me enough to say yes, even when I'm new? And to answer that, we need to walk through the exact day 1 to day 30 blueprint that I wish someone had handed me in my first year. This is the playbook thousands of freelancers have used to get their first clients in weeks, not months. So let's start with day 1. We'll call this one Pick a Problem, Not a Portfolio. So when you're starting from zero, don't pick a niche, pick a problem. Clients don't care about what you do. They care about what you do does for them. In other words, clients care about outcomes. So choose one painful, expensive, annoying, urgent problem that your service, your skill set can solve. So a few examples would be, instead of I'm a social media manager, go with I help restaurants turn slow nights into packed nights using Instagram. Right? Instead of I'm a copywriter, say I help coaches rewrite their onboarding emails so more subscribers buy. Do you see the difference here? You don't need experience. You need clarity. This level of specificity, if you can believe it, will catapult you in front of freelancers that have been doing this far longer than you, but that haven't figured this part of it out yet. But once you know the problem, how do you get people to talk to you? Because you got zero connections. This is one of the premises of this video. Well, let's move on to day 2 to day 5, right? We'll call this Build a Simple Proof Asset. You do not need a full portfolio. Sure, it can help if you're feeling enterprising this week and you want to, knock out a few examples of what it is you do. But if you're busy and you just want to test this out, you need one piece of micro proof, right? So some options there would be a Loom video breaking down how you'd fix this problem that you've decided you're fixing, a one-page mock-up or sample of you fixing this problem, a teardown of whatever it is you optimize, a website, content, menu design, video, something like that. Just assessing where the weak points are and how you would optimize, or a short case study of a favor project for a buddy, or just a project that you had ChatGPT assign you based on the parameters of what problem you're solving and what service you're solving it with. So all of these are like a trust starter. It's like kindling for a fire, and it's going to move the needle for this effort, in a manner that would surprise you. Now, how do you get this kindling in front of people who might actually hire you? That's day 6 to 14, right? We're going to call this the warm network referral system. And this is the part that not a lot of people tell beginners, and that's probably why a lot of people stay stuck. Your first clients almost never come from strangers. They come from friends, family, coworkers, classmates, old bosses, coaches. Mine came from my friend's dad's company, friends of friends. They come from people not because they owe you, but because people like to help people. And if you activate your network, you're giving them the opportunity to do that in 2 different ways. They're helping you, the freelancer, and they're helping the person they're referring you to, who has a problem that you can solve. So this is the fastest path to your first 2 or 3 clients, even with no portfolio. Just that micro proof asset. Reach out to every human being in your network with a very simple, short, personalized, like don't mass text, take the time to actually, personalize these things. But email or message saying, hey, I'm really excited. I'm on this journey. I'm solving this problem for this person. I know you've got a lot of buddies, and I'd really appreciate it if you put me in front of anybody that you think this would help, right? And attach that micro proof to that email so that it can be forwarded, because that's likely what's going to happen. You want to make this as easy as possible for folks to refer you. So your network becomes your distribution. Beginners are almost always surprised at how many referrals show up when they make it easy for their network to refer them, right? And that's what that's doing. The specificity of the offer, and the piece of micro proof in a very forwardable package, makes it a very easy lift for somebody in your network to pass you along to their friends. Now, what if you're shy or introverted, or don't want to make the ask of your network, or feel that you don't have a network that could do anything with that ask? Well, first, I'm going to push back on all of those. Really, really challenge yourself on all of those beliefs. Shy, introverted. The time to start building that muscle is now, right? Start having some at bats of not being shy or introverted. You never know if you don't ask, if you don't think that your network can is going to activate on your behalf. But in the case that none of that, or that all of that is true, day 15 to day 20 is all about demand creation, primarily on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn isn't a social network. It's a networking conference that's open 24/7, and you could just walk in at any time and insert yourself into conversations in your industry. A good comment on LinkedIn is better than a good post. I've had comments that have performed better than posts. It's just the nature of the site. So your goal on LinkedIn isn't to go viral. It's not to become a content creator. It's to leave comments, on every profile in your niche industry that people read and go, oh, this person gets it. Oh, this person, because it's so specific about their problems, they say, oh, this person, I'm gonna file that one away. If next time I'm up against that, this might be somebody that I reach out to. So comment on 10. 15, 20. I mean, it really is science. However many posts you comment on, you're going to get more result. But maybe start with 10, 10 comments that display your expertise and become your marketing. And then eventually you can start using tools like Sales Navigator to get even more out of LinkedIn. But that's a whole other video. Cool. So how do you turn this attention, either from your warm network or from demand creation on LinkedIn, how do you turn this attention into actual paying clients? And we'll call those days 21 through 30. The 10 conversation rule. Your goal isn't to close clients yet. Your goal is to trigger 10 diagnostic conversations with people that actually experienced the problem that you claim to solve. And here's why this works. In freelancing, the fastest path to traction, isn't in selling per se. It's in extracting data, in extracting market intel. Because the real buyers, the real people out there doing it, will say stuff that you'll never uncover in any course or piece of content on YouTube. If you want to actually start doing this, you got to start talking to people, to prospective buyers. So here are some rules of thumb. If you get over 7 out of the 10 responses that are like, wait, how would that work? Tell me more about this offer. Like what does that look like? Have you seen any results yet? Right? Your positioning is resonating with real demand. That's a great sign. If you get like 3 to 6 weak or polite replies, but replies nonetheless, your pain point is real, but your angle isn't sharp enough yet, right? So you're talking about something that they are up against, but not in a clever way or an unexpected way. And like your solution is kind of the blunt edge that everybody else is offering. So you need to come up with a sharper solution a more attention peaking solution to that problem. And then if you only get, 0 to 2 replies, you're solving the wrong problem for the wrong person. And be grateful that you did this exercise, because now you can pivot and find something else to start with, rather than walking down that path for a year or two and then deciding to start over. So this is how you're going to test your early stage positioning. Treat these conversations like mini user interviews, right? You're going to be looking for repeated phrases. Look for budget clues. Look for urgency signals hidden between their sentences, right? Is this an urgent problem? Is there a more urgent problem that they're alluding to? These signals can determine everything. Rate, offer, messaging. Long before you build anything close to a robust client list, you don't validate an offer by thinking about it. You validate it by hearing a prospect recognize themselves in it. When they lean in, that's when you know you're onto something. It's data collection. It's offer refinement. That's your competitive advantage. And then once these conversations turn into an actual client, that's where your entire trajectory changes fast. That's where you get to where you're trying to go by watching this video. So you don't need a network. You don't need a portfolio. You don't need experience. You need clarity. You need micro proof. You need to activate your warm audience, create some demand on LinkedIn, and have some conversations. You follow this 30-day system, and you'll build something that most freelancers never do. It's momentum that compounds. Now, if you want more tactical videos like this, subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you want to take it a step further and bring your questions and goals to me in a group coaching setting, join 1,300 other freelancers in the freelancing program. It's a course, community, group coaching, accountability program, and you can find the link for that in the description. All right? See you on the next one.